Oh, hello there. I forgot that it was loading in even though there was no screen, so I guess I was confused getting it stuck with Masquerade. Actually, what's interesting with Masquerade is that in order to record that, I was able to immediately pop into the recording. It's interesting. But anyway, hello, this is DarkElf85 on YouTube, or HektontheMage's on PSN, and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. I had to think for a moment. I apologize. I noticed I briefly looked at the video earlier today, video 1 of this stream. We need to turn down the master volume, so you could hear my lovely voice. If it's lovely, I have no definite idea. But anyway, I hope everyone is doing okay. It's Friday. Yeah, I literally have, well, I got paid today. I did double check. My paycheck did go into my other bank account, not my one that was my major one. Now it went to the one that's connected that I can use when I can transfer money overseas. I'm sorry, do a overseas remittance, because it's not transferring. That's in the country. But yeah, that's going to be key when I leave. And oh my gosh, it's about a month, literally, because June has, 30 days. That ends on Sunday, so that's why I got paid today. And July has 31 days. So yeah, it's basically a month, folks. And then I'm in the USA again. Also, by the by, it is getting darker clouds because even though they kept saying it was going to rain, it's now pushed back for tomorrow morning, and it's supposed to be bleh for like the next week and however long afterwards, because it is monsoon season and it's starting now. So yeah, like I'm looking outside, even though it's light out, you could see dark clouds on the horizon. Well, it's not on the horizon, it's literally right there. Well, it's all over. Actually, I think it was on the horizons. Now it literally is all over because it's going to start raining like, well, they say tomorrow morning, but I think it's going to start raining during night, through the night. Yeah. I know last year there were quite a few number of casualties. I hope that's not the thing again this year. That sucks. But yeah, it was just a lot of crazy rain. Of course I lived through. Of course I'm here through the season. Meh. Although, it's probably, actually, I don't know if it's going to, I hope it doesn't rain heavily when I leave, because that will delay things. And Dark pays for the cheap of the cheapest tickets. And his cheap ticket wasn't that cheap. Well, I'm sure for someone who has a lot of money, it's cheap. But, not for Dark. Well, actually, I think anything's really expensive, honestly. But anyway, yes, let's continue. Hopefully you can still hear the background music. I'm going to have to check this video later. Oh, it actually saved where it ended. Tutorial. Tutorial. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade, while staining what humanity you have left. Masquerade. Okay, no. So I never, in the past, I never overindulged. That is one of the trophies that I didn't get out of the 80% unlocked. Is Unleash the Beast. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That has horrible consequences in the TTRPG. Why the heck would I do that in a visual novel game? I don't want to die. I want you all to actually see this game. I don't feel like playing a different character. But yeah, that is a thing. And I don't think I got too hungry either, and went berserk. Although when I was Amanda, it was really hard because, like I said, she's a Ventru, and Ventru likes certain type of blood, usually high blood, and that was far and in between because I couldn't figure out who I should be sucking off, and the ones who I thought would be okay and acceptable blood were not enough. Yes, we will be sucking off people in this vampire game, unlike the Good Doctor TM and Vampire with a Y and no E. Well, okay, he did suck off people. He sucked off the bad people. The bad people. Quote unquote. Well, some of them were probably bad. I mean, they're probably bad yeah, probably. They're just yeah, anyway. Whatever. In coteries of New York, you have having high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. Yeah, that's how it's indicated. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers, or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story, ignoring it at your own peril. I think I did get that with Amanda. Pretty sure I did. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. See, that's the thing, and that's probably the other reason why I didn't get certain trophies, because I didn't want to risk it. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Yeah. Wait, I have high hunger now? How are you, I don't think, are you even able to do this option? Like, it's not like I was able to feed prior to this. I don't think you can. So I think they're just showing this as an example. That has to be an example. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. I want to say thirst. No, that's not right. Okay, well, example, feeding opportunity. You need to, what feeding opportunity? You sucked off. You walked outside, and your neighbor next door has a lovely piece of jewelry. But what's more lovely is that neck of theirs. I mean, whatever. Okay. You'll need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Didn't we already rest? Okay, sure, rest. Do. The next day, you open your eyes. I forgot what. Do I remember what voices I kind of. I didn't even actually get to the parts where I actually were speaking in other people's voice. Oh, maybe I did. I jumped around a little bit when I was rewatching the video today. The bed isn't warm. Well, yeah, you're cold. Well, I was going to say cold-blooded. You're just cold. You're not even cold-blooded. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The Solia metal doors closed. Sure, that's the right pronunciation. Normally, you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw the quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down, just the nagging need in the back of your head. Oh, the constant hunger. Yeah, I don't think I would like the constant hunger. That would be annoying. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04 p.m. Also, being a night owl, literally, a night bat. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is NYC's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You missed the sunlight already. Oh man. You are a Toreador. Or I am a Toreador. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself. But then you come back to the memory of Kadar's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour and then switch to streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. I don't think I've actually watched the whole show of True Blood. I know, it was interesting because that came on at a time when they were like doing a lot of vampire stuff, and that includes the movie adaptations of a certain book that shall not be named, a book series. And I will say I only watched the first two movies, maybe. I remember watching the first movie in grad school because it was free. At the university, and I was like, wow, this is a teens movie because it was bad acting. But anyway, and hello, welcome. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Good evening, Lamar. Slept well? I really want to say like a dead man. But let's be real. It's not really like normal sleep, is it? I suppose it isn't. Some say it's more like being dead, but we wouldn't know, would we? It's no use reflecting on it anyway, except that this is who you are now. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself, your blood, its desires, and its power. We will begin tonight. Dictionary update. I'm not going to keep saying that phrase. You're hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. How kind always is. There is only one remedy, the blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. Oh, you can't say that. Slake your thirst. Elysium, a place where vampires may gather without fear of harm. Court functions in Elysium are strictly kept apart from mortals and surrounded by secrecy. But the Elysium building itself could be a public museum, a gallery, or club. Berghain is an Anarch Elysium. The Louvre is a Camilla Elysium. Like, those are examples. So, I mean, they're going to have humans. I mean, when they were being served drinks, those are humans. So, they will be humans serving, but they're usually like people's humans. Well, that's not the phrase that they use. They use like ghouls, or they use a different term also. But that's what, so there will be humans, but it wouldn't be like public humans. Also, even though they didn't say it in this description, Elysium is supposed to be open to any vampire. You won't get hurt in Elysium, unless it's maybe in a hidden room somewhere else in Elysium, a bit away from all other eyes, maybe. But yeah, so like you could be an Anarch in a Camarilla or vice versa, Elysium, but you might not be leaving alive or get to your final destination after you leave Elysium. I mean, they're not going to, you could get offed afterwards. Yeah. Anywho. So, tonight I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kinds of vulnerabilities to your advantage. Thank goodness I'm not playing as frickin' Amanda again. I would have to remember who I did not chose the time before, because thought I chose the right person, and nope. Although I might try to choose a different person with him, just to see the different option. Do I want to be emo? Sure. So let me get this straight. We are predators, humans are prey? That's pretty grim. I know what you feel. I remember the notion. But you will inevitably grow beyond it. You need blood to thrive, but there are many ways to take it, some more humane than others. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly would keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some even become addicted to this sensation, but if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. The embrace, the act of transforming a mortal into a vampire. The embrace requires the vampire to drain her victim and then replace that victim's blood with a bit of her own. And then kiss. An act of drinking blood, usually from a mortal. The kiss causes feelings of ecstasy in those who receive it. And don't forget to lick the wound closed. Though I don't think they mentioned that in this. But anyway. And it's funny because they don't always do it on the broadcast of the TTRPG in Word of Darkness, or on Word of Darkness. But we assume it happened. Yeah. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. Oh, actually, I think they do talk about it. Binding people leaves marks, right? And the victims remember your face. You shouldn't concern yourself with leaving marks. These are easy to conceal. You just need to bite carefully and then lick the punctures closed. That's all there is to it. Okay, they do talk about it. Never mind. Blech. I thought they did it. I might not have selected that option before. As for being remembered, like I mentioned, the kiss is an ecstatic experience, so kind can barely recall the details. And even when they do, the city is enormous. You could spend days on the streets and not see the same face twice. Use that to your advantage. Gosh. Vampire the Masquerade, Omaha, Nebraska. It's not that big. Well, I mean, there's what, 400-something thousand people in Omaha, Nebraska? Or, Vampire the Masquerade, Des Moines, Iowa, with like 300-some thousand people. Or possibly where I might be, one of the places I might be living, depending upon if I get accepted for the job. I'm not going to say where. But, yeah, even rural. Vampire the Masquerade, where my parents live. They state that there's a certain amount of people in my parents' town, and yet I don't. I'm like, really? It's that big? Oh, golly. Anyway, feeding from the same area and repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out, you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, NYC is more forgiving in this regard. I don't even think you can. Well, yeah, I don't even think you can feed in the same area in this game. And when there is a feeding opportunity, I don't think there is any repercussion. But this is just for lore. Domain, the area of a particular vampire's influence. Princes claim entire cities as their domains, sometimes allowing lesser vampires to claim domain within. What about towns and villages and smaller cities? What county areas? What rural cities? I'm curious about this, seriously. Korea, where there's cities special cities, which are just the city, um, counties, and then the counties can have cities, towns, villages, and then there's other certain special areas like um, Jeju. Jeju technically is a special island province, but there is like different towns and cities in it. Like there's Jeju City proper in Jeju Island, and then there's like Sugwipo and then other smaller villages. How does domains work there? Anyway, how do they work? So why is my phone beeping? New York is somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs, Gregory is waiting for us. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of those people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thinned New York traffic. It's really busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize this is where you took part in the exhibition just 2 nights prior. Same address, and you suspect, same hall. To what ends has it been repurposed tonight? Oh, I forgot this. This isn't the scene I was thinking of in the game, but yeah, there's this scene. Come, Lamar, park the car. Gregory, will you? Oh, sorry. I totally misread that because my eyes are bleh right now. I'm kind of tired. Don't know why. Well, I know kind of why. I've been sleeping kind of bleh late, going to bed late, and then because of the when the sunlight turns on, because I have my AC portable mini AC unit on, so that makes noise. I'm not wearing the earplugs because I'm not waking up to teach the next day anymore. So, oh yeah, because I am done with that, folks. Last Monday was my last teaching day, and I finished up grading like on Wednesday. I did print them out, so if students have questions or if certain students are turning in their projects late, I am updating stuff, of course, because next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, are when students will be contesting grades, and then I have to turn in the paper grades by the 12th of July. So I'm still doing that stuff. I mean, I still have stuff to do, and of course I have to clear out my office in my apartment. But I've been obviously thinking about moving, packing, all that stuff. And waking up at freaking 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 or whatever because of the freaking light, because even though I have blackout curtains up, they don't go all the way up because I've talked about this, about my sliding window, and then above that there's like another window section and I can't reach to block. I don't have a ladder. They won't allow me to borrow a ladder downstairs from like the front desk workers or whatever. I don't know if it's a safety issue. Someone, I think, tried to borrow a ladder and they wouldn't do it. Even though they have ladders, it's like, but yeah, it's really annoying. I can't wait to have blackout curtains that fit the windows wherever I live. Blackout curtains are a human being's greatest inventions. I want to wake up when I feel like waking up. Not sooner. Anyway. Come, Lamar. Park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods and Sophie gets out. You join her, and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. I'm probably going to make comments between these scenes and if you were playing as Amanda, just because Amanda's scenes are kind of funny, because, again, she's a Ventru. So it's hilarious. By hilarious, that means it sucks for you, because, like, it's a handicap, basically. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back. Then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one will usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now, let's see here. Ah! There he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There is somebody I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Lamar. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. Nom nom! Nom nom! What do you expect? You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're, you know. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks to you, embarrassed, but also hopeful. I don't know what you're talking about. What, you're into that sort of thing? Yes I do. She takes off her jacket, unbuttons her sleeve, then rolls it up. You see a tattoo of a cat in an astronaut suit, one feline eye winking at you. There, just enjoy. A perfectly awkward smile and a blush. Drink from Julie. You take her forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down, gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just the taste. Sweet, fresh, sanguine. What, sanguine? It is sanguine, right? I'm pretty sure it's sanguine. It's sanguine, yeah, sanguine. You drink. And drink. And drink. No, stop. You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures. Almost as if by instinct, you lick them clean and the two holes become concealed. Just like that. Julie is now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy? She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes. A few tears fall onto her shirt, tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs? Please? My dad, he doesn't know. Thinks it's a condition. Ms. Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to a bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly. Looking at her now, only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yes, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful. Sure, but not your type. What came over you before? I know, your type is men. Your type is men or men? Or men, yeah. Oh my gosh. Dark is an English professor. I wonder if I'm ever going to stream during the daytime when I might be more coherent. The answer is probably no. Well, actually, I have streamed during the day. I have. But not recently. Anyway. You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with Lamar. Gregory is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell from your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. That girl is exquisite, don't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion. It brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. I think she knows who we are. That's not normal, right? It's not usually that much is true, but don't worry. She will do nothing. She will do anything I tell her to, and won't say anything to anyone that I haven't put in her pretty head first. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off this time. Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. This is the area I was thinking of. The driver takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. Those people back at the hall, they were all entranced. Even I was under your spell. What was that? She smiles with satisfaction. That old trick? Just the blood doing my bidding. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. And others through blood magic. Okay, anyway. I can sway people and make them fear me. I see more of the world in greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace, and more. All of these skills make me who I am. They also help me hunt. How exactly do I use these talents? You will, maybe let. You will let the blood, I'm going to drop that too and add let. You will let the blood do your bidding. Many times you'll find you do these things intuitively, almost passively, but making an entire room focus their attention on you, that is tempting the beast. Also, it comes by age, because the older you are as a vampire, of course, the stronger your powers are. I think that ties into leveling up, obviously, if it's the TTRPG. But that is the thing. The older you are, the more you're able to control your powers and your blood and use that more effectively. Always keep the masquerade in mind, however. It is fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind, but save those overt talents for the right place and time. It only takes you half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find a parking spot and keep an eye on the car. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight. The stars just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go look for somebody to your liking. See what effects you can achieve with your blood. But only pick one victim. Just one, then come back. Seeing how she seems not altogether right herself, you decide to leave Sophie to her own devices and seek out your prey. From here, it looks like you have a few choices, just taking a stroll around the park and fighting an isolated jogger, or someone like them could work, but focusing on one area might work better. Oh, I think I have done other choices. I just chose the wrong choice with Amanda. Like, I kept screwing. Oh yeah, I forgot to say. So with Julie, Amanda doesn't like her blood. When you drink with Amanda, you'll immediately be off-put, and like even Julie has a comment about that, and you can tell Sophie about it. And then I just kept choosing the wrong person. It was so bad. It was bad. I was just like, oh my gosh, why is Amanda hardcore mode? It's so messed up. I think that might be the difficulty levels. It's just ridiculous. It was bad. But anyway. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby. In worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. Wino means drunkard, right? Or maybe the tennis court's nearby. There's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. See, I think with Amanda I chose the tennis match because you always assume people who play tennis are rich. I mean, that's not always true. That's such a bad stereotype, Dark. But it's true. But it's true. But anyway, that didn't work out. So if you're playing Amanda, spoilers, don't choose that track. You're not going to get good blood. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realize you're planning how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts you to act. I don't think I ever hunt near the decrepit pavilion. I think I did tennis courts maybe with Lamar the first time around, and I think I might have done the park with Eric. Was it Eric? Yeah, Eric with a C. That was it. No, with a K. Or was it Eric with a K? No, it's Eric with a C. Okay. Let's do this. I don't think I did this. You make your way to one of the park's most well-known landmarks, the round skeleton of the New York State Pavilion, with its two vaguely futuristic-looking towers. You don't get lucky with the skate park. It's not deserted. Instead, a group of skaters is gathered there, talking loudly and listening to music, playing out of crackling smartphone speakers. Deciding to have a quick look around, you identify a potential victim, a sleeping bag lady, leaned back on a bench, a shopping cart full of what looks like trash nearby. Oh, that's the wino. Even thinking of that second option makes you feel sick. You decide to take your chances with the skaters, not even getting close to the homeless woman. You think back to what Sophie did in the hall, how she managed to focus the attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person could be doable. You single out a guy who's talking on his phone, away from the gathering. He's having a heated discussion with somebody. A relative? A partner? It's not going well. This talk's over. I said, shut the fuck up. Hey, you hearing me? Shut up. Call me when you get some fucking sense into your stupid brain, okay? He ends the call abruptly and almost throws the phone to the ground in frustration. But that would be stupid, because that's throwing away a $500+ phone now. Well, probably $300+ phone. But you know, humans do stupid shit. I don't see any of these being a power. Rough night. He's got an angry expression on his face and tears welling in his eyes, but he gives you a curious look and even a bit of a shy smile. Yeah, you could say that. What's up? Oh, these sound like stranger danger! These all sound bad. The first one just sounds like how I talk on dating apps and dating websites. This one just sounds creepy, or like I'm a drug dealer, and this one's just stranger danger. I got something that will put a smile on your face. He takes a few steps forward away from his buddies, who remain totally oblivious to what's happening, but you see your influence fading. You take your chance and lunge. Your fangs sink into his exposed shoulder. He shivers and lets out a moan. His phone hits the pavement and you hear the casing crack. His blood tastes like a clash of hot emotion and melancholy. I'm just doing this right in front of his buddies. It's kind of weird. Laced with some artificial stimulant you can't mix. Oh god, I'm going to be high. An energy drink? A recreational drug? It's a strange mix. You hardly have the chance to savor it, as the proximity of the skater's friends make you feel vulnerable. You hastily finish drinking and drag the guy over to the pavilion. When you turn around, you realize you're not alone. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you. What do you think you're doing, barging into my turf like this, Lick? Lick, a derogatory term usually used to address young, inexperienced vampires. Let's do the first one. What did you call me? A lick? What is that supposed to mean? Don't be cute with me. I know what you are. Shove that masquerade bullshit up your ass. But it'll tell me who you are with before my posse shows up and we beat it out of you. I came here with Sophie Langley. She's my patron. Doesn't ring a bell. Sounds fancy, though. He licks his lips, exposing his fangs and looking at you ferociously. A nervous tick or an attempt at intimidation. I wonder, what would Callahan do to you if I brought you in, huh? Break your shins? Leave you out to be kissed by the sun? Oh, concrete shoes, maybe. He's old school like that. If I do that, I do... I just realized his hat says I love beer. I wasn't paying attention to that, really. Does that actually say Nike? Or is that Mikey? It's Mikey, and it's with... yeah, but it's supposed to be, yeah. I don't, if I remember correctly, I think I did all these options. Well, each character has different strengths, but I don't think it matters because I think he catches up. This is basically a story element in this hoodlum dude. Even though I just drank, we're gonna do celerity and run back to Sophie fast. You take off fast, faster than you've ever run. The hoodlum has trouble keeping up, but howls behind you like an animal and gives chase anyway. As you reach the Unisphere again, you slow down, noticing two people near the sculpture. A man and a woman tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly. It's Sophie, feeding. But this whole scene is set up that it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before, well, because she has. It occurs to you that she probably has, yes. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind a tree. Well, Lamar, how did it go? You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of you, and a predatory smile creeps onto his lips. Thought you could run away from me, Lick? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too. He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both you and the hooded thug. The hooded thing. Thug. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket and slams it into the thug's chest. Just like that, in a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. I thought they'd just stay in the position that they get staked in. I didn't think that they, collapse. I see you've made a friend, Lamar. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he? He mentioned a Callahan. He said something about presenting me to somebody named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second, then recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have. This hoodlum is Anarch, then. Curious. Corona Park has not been claimed by any Kindred last I checked. The Anarch movement. A vampire sect that opposes the tyranny of elders and has placed itself outside the secret society of the Camarilla. I mean, they're still secretive, still as well. They're just, well, they do, well, okay, they're not that secretive. Okay, I should, depends on what you're going with on the TTRPG or how it's being run. But, yeah, I mean, they're not as secretive as the Camarilla. Although, when you think about a lot of the things that the Camarilla does, not everything is that secretive either. But, yeah. I guess overall, less secretive than the Camarilla. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadar tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this Unbound's acquaintance. And yeah, there's some grammatical stuff. I wish there was a period. But this game is good overall, as a visual novel, as a VN. I like how they did the artwork and the profiles. Are not portraits. Well, I guess you could say portraits. Portraits usually is shorter up, but it could be, well, pictures. Let's say profiles of the people, the drawings of the people, pictures of the pictures. Yeah, everything is good about this, and the music's. Well, I mean, the music's not well. I like the music overall. I mean, it's not too much, but it's still good. Gregory carries the staked vampire, dumps him in the car's trunk like a mannequin. It's a strange sight, and you're quite happy you're not in that poor fucker's shoes right now. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into your car and driving away. He's not a stiff. A stiff means a dead body. Well, he's an undead body. A paralyzed undead body. So many weird connotations in that sentence. But then you remember that Sophie has been doing this far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills you with dread. I know. Being a vampire in the 21st century must suck. Seriously. Hunting and using your abilities is a dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice. I will pick you up tomorrow night, same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadar and the Prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court. Court. The social system of a city's kindred, resembling the feudal system of mortals. At the top is the prince, below them, the members of the Primogen Council. Order in the domain is maintained by a sheriff. The gatherings are organized in secret sanctuaries known as Elysiums. Now that, of course, is also with the Camarilla, That's not entirely true with the other groups, especially with the anarchs, or the anarch movement. Although they may have some sort of leaders or head people, but it's not like set up with a court and a prince and everything. Her voice is cold, cruel, nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. What's going to happen to him? What's going to happen to him? The usual, I imagine. Interrogation by Kadar, probably in the basement of the gallery. A quick trial with the prince in attendance if she's there tomorrow night. A swift execution as the verdict. This all sounds eerily familiar to you, and you can't help but feel a pang of guilt when you think about what awaits this guy tomorrow night. You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope? I think so, yeah. I think I am, yeah. I'll cope. I'm glad. She doesn't question you further. She seems distracted, not all there. Her thoughts drift and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment. We'll pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves, driven to her apartment by Gregory with a body in the trunk. Right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like these in the past, unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass on the streets without knowing their true nature? Your haven is just as you left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, you feel tired. You learned something about yourself today, and it'll take time to process. Haven, a vampire's home or base, where they find sanctuary from the sun. You're not in the mood for television, and the few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages you don't speak or sound like a boring read. Nothing left to do but rest. You settle in the back room, lock the door. A moment of hesitation, but then a decision. This time you turn the light off. You think back to Julie. How many people in the city know about this vampiric society? How many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the thug you met in the park. If he's not Camarilla, then what is he? Are there independent vampires? How does that work? More questions. You begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night when you can start crossing them off the list instead of adding to it. You close your eyes. You sink into the now familiar void of nothingness. It greets you with open arms like an old friend. You know, with arms wide open. Okay. So you can rest immediately, even if it's early. I like that. You open your eyes. I bet everyone opens their eyes at the same time, too, as vampires. In this universe, mind you. It's pitch dark here. The blackness of a coffin, drifting in the abyss. Oh, right. The light. You grasp for the switch, flip it. The familiar cramped room with a steel door and no windows comes into view. You emerge from the bedroom fully awake, just like yesterday. This time, however, Sophie is waiting for you, comfortably seated on the sofa in your living room space. A book in her hand, The Melancholy of Resistance. The title's sure on brand. Good evening, Lamar. That'll be nice. Or, I don't know if it's nice, but feeling guilty or bad. Sorry to have kept you waiting. To be fair, I haven't been here long. I was enjoying reminiscing about the time when I called this my haven. The decor was much different, of course. Come, we have an appointment. I received word Elysium would be called again tonight on account of your unruly friend from Corona Park. This should be a great opportunity for you to mingle. She keeps talking as you walk downstairs and get in the car. Gregory gives you a slight nod and a small smile while opening the door for Sophie. He starts the car when you take your seat in the back. Most of the Primogen Council is bound to be there, at least those who usually attend. Probably some other important personalities you'd do well to at least learn about. The Primogen Council. The Primogen Council represents the interests of the local kindred and advises the prince on matters of law and rule. Traditionally, it consists of representatives from each of the most prominent clans or factions in the domain, naturally favoring those of the Camarilla, though outsiders are allowed to report any issues to a Primogen not of their own clan. Primogen are often elders, but despite the term, Primogen from Latin means the firstborn, there are no rules in place that this is how it must be. In fact, during the last few decades, more and more councils have seen drastic changes to their structure. Progressiveness in the Camarilla? Faint shock. Anyone I should talk to when we arrive? Not especially. My advice would be to try to talk to the prince and perhaps reassure her of your gratefulness for being spared. Maybe speak to Kadar on the same topic if you get a hold of him. The Primogen I would advise against. They are rather stuck up, all told, and even if they will talk to you, they might try to secure you for some nefarious purpose. I wouldn't appreciate that. I didn't know she actually said that. I don't think I chose that option. I think I chose the middle one last time. Of course, be respectful if anybody approaches you and strikes up a conversation. You will no doubt be gossiped about, as will I. Keep a cool head. Some enjoy provoking fledglings into stupid acts. At any rate, you should behave yourself tonight. Remember what I told you about reflecting on me as your patron. I have a reputation to uphold in the court. Do not tarnish it. There it is. She might have saved you. She might be protecting and teaching you, but it's clear what she's really concerned about. Her own interests. You step into the art hole, that name, with something of a bad memory. I mean, it's not bad, but Dark has a dirty mind, and so that happens. The last time you were here, your entire world had been turned upside down, and your existence nearly ended. Isn't that part of song lyrics? Entire world had been turned upside down. I'm sure it is, but I don't know offhand. I'm too tired to try to think. And I'm not checking my phone. But tonight there is very little toward outward hostility. Yes, Kadar gives you a look that's definitely intended to remind you of your place, but the prince, also in attendance, seems pleased to see you. Welcome, Sophie, Lamar. Did I get that right? Good evening to both of you. I understand there is somebody else you wish to present to the court tonight. Yes, Prince. They will be joining us shortly. My assistant is retrieving them presently. This better be worth the prince's time, Langley. The prince gives Kadar a cold glance. Forgive the sheriff's harshness. He's in a particular foul mood tonight. Something to do with Lamar's begetter eluding his grasp, I believe. Ouch. That must have hurt his ego, even if his only reply is a crooked smile. The mention of your sire makes you feel a pang of emotion again. Whoever he was, he left a lasting impression. One reinforced with your visit to the show space last night. That's the past. Right now, though, you're back in the gallery and are reminded of your sister instead. Emma frequents this place. Is she aware of these clandestine meetings after dark? The flaring up of whispers in the gallery hall breaks you out of your thoughts. Gregory enters the room, the jumpsuit-clad, inert vampire still stacked on his shoulder. The show's about to start. Sophie's driver places his charge in the middle of the room and nods respectfully to Kadar. The sheriff approaches the vampire and removes the stake from his chest. The captor's eyes flicker to life, and he starts looking around in disbelief. Like a cornered animal, he backs out on all fours, keeps going in circles until he realizes he's trapped. Kadar steps on the man's chest and pins him to the floor. Why, who do we have here? Oh fuck, oh shit, no, come on, don't. Silence. The sheriff takes on an aura of utter dread. He appears as if he's a primal force of nature and that's out to get you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do but shrivel in fear. The beast inside you shrieks and you could swear it happens in unison with the instincts of some of the other guests here tonight. It's unlike anything you've experienced in his company during your turbulent first night as a vampire. He really did go easy on you, all things considered. It seems like it takes all of the hoodlum's willpower to not crawl into a fetal position and start crying. No, please, don't hurt me, man. Don't. You and me are going to have a little talk downstairs at the prince's discretion. Please go ahead, my sheriff. You heard the prince. Get up. Let's go. He doesn't wait for a confirmation. He just grabs the man and drags him, kicking and screaming out of the room. Conversations start all around you. Some whispered, some quite overt. Sophie looks somewhat bored of the whole affair, her eyes wandering from art piece to art piece, clearly finding nothing to her particular liking. So, what happens now? It'll be at least some minutes before Kadar gets the information he seeks out of this thug. Why not mingle while we wait for him to break? It sounds so disturbing. Excuse me. Sophie leaves your side and goes to a corner of the gallery where a group of kindred, some seemingly pretty old-fashioned, gather. A concierge offers you a drink. Still warm, it smells nice. Just a sip to start you off. A splash over your palate, coating your tongue and the inside of your cheeks. Nourishment. You're left to your own devices. You have a quick look around. The prince is currently talking to a dark-skinned woman that you recall seeing here those few nights ago. She has a cold but noble countenance to her. Their conversation seems to be casual. I remember who that is. Spoilers abound in this playthrough, people. You see her in... do you see her in this game? You definitely see her in the second game, that woman. I don't know if you see her in this game or not. A loud, shrill laugh turns your attention to the bespectacled man who you saw with Sophie on the night of your judgment. He's making the rounds, chatting up different patrons. You feel somebody's eyes on you. A casually dressed, plain-looking man stands alone near a column, watching you. He turns his gaze away sheepishly when he realizes you've noticed. Try to talk to the prince. You approach the prince, trying to stay as respectful of her private conversation as possible. She glances at you as you step forward, her scrutinizing gaze mimicked by her companion. She addresses the dark-skinned woman before turning to you. Excuse me just for a moment, Samira. Yes, Lamar? What is it? I wanted to give you my thanks. I wish to thank you for sparing me, Prince. I realized it wasn't an easy decision to make, and I wanted to express my sincere appreciation. How thoughtful of you. She takes a long look at you before she continues. I didn't do it from the kindness of my unbeating heart. You are an asset. To Ms. Langley, to the Camarilla, and to me. I believe I made the right decision. Prove to me and the other kindred of the city that it was so, and there might be more to your future nights than just survival and servitude. The dark-skinned woman looks impatiently at you and catches the prince's attention. Forgive me, that's all the time I can spare right now. We have some things to discuss with Samira still. Enjoy your night, Lamar. Just about to leave. You leave the two women to their conversation, which they get back to almost immediately after the prince turns to Samira. You notice Sophie mingling with other kindred, clearly in her element and not to be disturbed. Kadar hasn't come back yet, so you could probably still find time for at least one conversation. I don't want to chat with the guy with the glasses. I mean, I've done both options, but yeah, we're going to do this one. Confront the man looking at you. There's something about this guy. It's not that he's staring at you. Most everybody in this room has at one point or another. It's how he does it. He seems shy, maybe even afraid. It's hard to find a secluded spot in the gallery tonight, but this guy has an entire corner of the room all to himself. As you approach, he's standing alone with no glass in hand, a worried look on his face. Good evening, Mr. Larson. Or you can call me Robert. Either is fine. Sorry, I don't have a good voice. I don't know how to make a shy voice. That's normally how I talk in public. Larson. Or you can call me Robert. Either's fine. Why are you standing around by yourself like this? I'm not hugely liked around these parts. I'm surprised you wanted to talk to me. Then again, you're new, so you probably don't know. I'm one of the Prince Panhard's Primogen. I'm here on business in case the Prince requires my insight. Usually it's so she can hear me out before ignoring me. Not sure if you were paying attention the other night, but when the Prince mentioned diverging opinions on whether you should be executed or not, that was me. I was the diverging opinion. I'm actually curious about this subject. Not that I'm ungrateful, but out of curiosity, what was your reasoning? My reasoning? Just common sense. That you shouldn't be blamed for being assaulted and essentially murdered to boot. But as Kadar loves to say, the traditions are clear. Listen, I don't want to be rude, and I appreciate you reaching out, but word of advice, stay away from me. Many vampires in this sect regard my position as Primogen to be some kind of a joke, you know? You talk to me, they'll notice, and they'll hold it against you. You have a quick look behind you, and you see that few of the Kindred keep shooting in curious glances. One woman in particular, a redhead boasting a fanciful hairstyle, watches you disapprovingly. Oh, I think I know who that might be. Some of them already do, I imagine. Excuse me, I need to try to get a word in with a few Primogen members before Qatar returns. Enjoy your night. With just the critical looks of a few Kindred to keep you company, you start thinking about who to pursue next. Oh, there was no dictionary about which Primogen he was, oddly enough. I mean, I know what type of vampire he is. But depending upon, so coteries of New York, we will be building a coterie soon. And depending upon who I choose in my coterie, that will dictate if I'm going to be speaking more to him, I think. Because I think he's tied in to one of the other coterie members' quest lines, I think. I'm trying to remember. It's hard to remember. A loud exchange near the staircase grabs everybody's attention. Kadar is back, and the hoodlum is with him. The sheriff pushes his unfortunate victim inside the room. The vampire that threatened you last night is a mess. That stupid hat is still inexplicably on his head, covering some of his ruined face in welcome shadow. He's barely conscious. His shin is broken, you think. Something protruding there, making the pant leg bulge. One arm seems twisted at a strange angle. Very little blood, surprisingly, but clearly a whole lot of hurt. Well, Kadar, did our guest cooperate? Tell the prince your name. He still has the same picture, though. It's Howard. And who do you run with, Howard? The Midnighters. An anarch coterie, my prince. Active for some time now, though from what this one had told me, the name is about the only legacy the group has kept over the years. Coterie, part of Tidodrop. A small group of kindred, united by the need for support and sometimes common interests. Actually, does it show all the... Well, there they are. Okay. I see. Hey, Prince, I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I didn't... A loud crack makes some of the guests audibly gasp as Kadar's slap dislocates the man's jaw. A spray of blood creates something like an abstract art piece on the floor. This one is guilty of threatening a member of the Camarilla and climbing a domain without the prince's approval. That alone would be enough to pass with judgment, but he is also Anarch scum. My prince. There can be only one verdict, final death. Do your duty, Sheriff. Final death. When a vampire ceases to exist, crossing the line from undeath into true death. Unless, of course, somebody would like to play at being a good Samaritan, like our dear Ms. Langley a few nights ago. The look the prince serves you and Sophie is a cruel jest. Sophie takes it gracefully, smiling and slipping her arm under yours in a strange public show of affection. Nobody says anything. The vampire named Howard jumps to his feet and makes for the window. I don't think I've done any of these. I usually just do this one, and I'm going to do it also. You have a feeling Howard's efforts are fruitless. Just a few seconds later, that feeling is confirmed. He almost reaches the window. Almost, but not quite. I need to buy some more bottled water. This game makes me drink my water. And what seems like a blink of an eye, Kadir, it's probably Kadir. I'm going to mispronounce his name because I'm not used to names. I believe is Middle Eastern I don't know which descent, but I'm pretty sure it's Middle Eastern. Kadir appears first near a scabbarded sword in one corner of the gallery, and then next to the escaping Anarch on the opposite side of the room. The next moment, Howard's head flies off his body, baseball cap free. His lifeless body crumples to the ground and begins to decompose in real time. It's an uncanny sight. As always, our sheriff does not fail to impress. I would like to thank Miss Langley for bringing this Anarch thug to my and Kadir's attention. I assume all have found the verdict satisfactory. It's a rhetorical question and everybody here knows it. Then I consider tonight's meeting concluded. Good night to all of you. She steps out of the room and you see that many of the guests move to do the same. Sophie seems to be conversing with somebody, a serious-looking man in a trench coat, about what transpired. You probably have time to strike up a conversation with your own, too. Kadir al-Asmai? I don't know how to... I don't know. Al-Asmai? Like, would it be the second vowel? Al-Asmai. I'm going to just say Al-Asmai. I'm going to say the second vowel. Is still here. It's still here for one, but clearly getting ready to leave. Larson is still moping around. The other man you noticed before Kadir brought the Anarch. The other man you noticed before Kadir brought the Anarch is still chatting with the remaining attendants. I'm going to talk to Kadir. The sheriff's mood seems to have improved, so you decide you won't get a better shot at saying your piece. He's just sheathing his sword as you approach him. He notices you just before his face turns from a melancholic frown back to his regular predatory smirk. You seem to have caught him in a moment of reflection. What is it, Lamar? I think he makes a comment if I say the first one, but I'm going to do it. I wanted to thank you for bringing me here in one piece, for giving me a chance. An emotion creeps onto Kadir's face that you haven't seen the sheriff exhibit before. Is that gratitude? It's fleeting, only there for a moment, gone in the blink of an eye. It was it was trying on my nerves, and you are still far and away from proving that it was the right thing to do. So don't think that a few kind words will let you off the hook. I wonder, how does it feel to bring a lamb to the slaughter to the way... I wonder, how does it feel to bring a lamb to the slaughter the way you did tonight? Do you feel any remorse, regret? I'm going to enjoy guessing. I'm sorry, he's just so attractive. I don't care. I like a guy with long hair. It's a weakness of mine. Those. Well, all the characters have piercing eyes that look into your soul because they're all vampires. So of course, yeah, I think the ones who aren't more vampire looking don't. I mean, hint, hint. Larson has a certain look that doesn't look the same as the others so far. I mean, he has a look, but he's not like staring into your soul. And that's well, there's a reason for that. And if you notice, he didn't look as pale. To be quite honest, Dark, you're gonna sound racist. Oh, white people look pale. Oh, okay. Light-skinned people. I mean, technically, he wouldn't be considered white. Kadir because of his ancestry, but anyway. Watch, he's actually Spanish. Anyway, okay, now. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave. Let's do the last one. Now, you know what? Let's do the second one. Tell me, do you enjoy this, being a sheriff for Prince Penhart? Enjoyment has nothing to do with this. It's my duty. When Calebros asked me to fill the shoes of the sheriff and root out our enemies, I was glad to serve the sect. When Helene became prince and asked that I keep doing this, I agreed because I believe in the Camarilla and I respect the fact that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. He picks up the sword and turns towards the stairs. If more Kindred understood that, my job would be much duller, though. On that note, I wish you a good night. And watch yourself. You've messed up my batting average, so I'll be sure to keep a close eye on you. Fuck off. I love you too, Kadir! With that final threat, he leaves the gallery. It's right about when Sophie also ends her conversation and walks over to you. Interesting evening, wasn't it? Come, Gregory's waiting downstairs. She seems preoccupied with something and not in a talkative mood. It's an awkward ride back to the city. This time you arrive at another building, just 2 streets across from your apartment. She brings you upstairs through a very nice lobby and a luxurious-looking hall into her domain. Please, have a seat. I shall be right with you. You take in your surroundings. The apartment is like a gallery, an old school smoking room that you've seen in some period piece once, in a Navarre reaches. It's Navarre reach, right? Because it's French. Living room, meticulously combined together. She has a cigarette. Apologies. Old habits die hard. Clearly, some stick with you even after your death. She drags on her cigarette and breathes out. Breathes. How is she doing that? Can you do that? Oh yes, you might not know. It takes some practice, but you can keep smoking if you like. Other things too. Experiment. You might surprise yourself. But I did not... Okay. Now, on a TTRPG setting point of view, when you do something like this, you're rousing the beast. And, when you play this as a TTRPG, you rouse the beast. That gives you more dice that have the beast marker. You have more dice to do things, but if you get more beast dice, you do a bloody fail or critical or whatever, and that's not good, because especially if it's a success, or it could be a bloody critical success. I mean, it might be a success, but it's a bestial one. Yeah, you are rising. You have to use your blood to do it. so like you can continue smoking, but you can make yourself go insane or hungry. It's like ridiculous. But yeah, you can. You can. But I did not bring you here to show off. This is where I rest these nights. That door in the back, the bedroom. Similar to yours. I have servants and bodyguards in addition, of course. I brought you here because I need you to trust me. When I told you before that I needed your best behavior to uphold my good standing with the court, I meant it. But that's not the whole story. I have your interests in mind too. That's why I've given you your own haven, why I'm trying to teach you how to navigate this new reality. But you need to trust me, or else this won't work. You can come here whenever you feel like asking me something, when you're in trouble too, though I hope that won't happen often. I would ask you to come here when you wake up tomorrow. I'll have something to discuss with you. I'll just do the first option. Okay, I'll come over first thing tomorrow night. I appreciate that. That silence again. There's definitely something on Sophie's mind tonight, but she doesn't seem eager to share it with you just yet. I'm leaving for another visit. Come downstairs with me. We'll give you a lift. A quick trip, a promise that you'll show up tomorrow, and some polite goodbyes later. You open the door to your haven and gather your thoughts. It's exciting, in a way, being dragged deeper and deeper into the secret society and its rules. Whatever Sophie has planned for you, it's bound to teach you more about this thing you have become. You sink into your vampiric sleep with just a sliver of hope. It's a welcome change. Rest. And I'll be right back, folks. Before we find out what this new night brings for us and what Sophie wishes to talk with us for, wishes to talk with us for. I'm tired. Anyway, I'll be right back, folks. Excuse me. going to miss this 3-seater that has the ends reclining like theater chair recliners. I'm not a fan of having recliner that's, I mean, the theater reclining is nice. I prefer mechanical because then you don't have to plug it in, because you do have to plug this in. It is plugged in to the wall socket. I don't like it. I don't like that aspect. There's a thunderstorm and the power gets cut off. You cannot retract or retract or intract. Is it intract? I don't know, but you can't move that then. But yeah, but I do like it's comfortable. I'm gonna miss this. It's a I got on sale too. Anyway, but anyway, I'm sure at some point I'll find nice furniture. Well, nice in my setting, not like what my parents paid for their. I was gonna be like the last furniture what they got. They got leather furniture. I wonder how. I'm curious what it will feel like, but it's expensive. I forgot to mention this, but on Wednesday, I don't know how it happened. It happens at times, and I'm not sure where it came from. I said where it, so you probably have an idea of what I'm talking about, folks. It probably had to come from this. I feel like it came after I did this action, but of course I didn't see where it came from. So the sink was acting up in the bathroom, so I decided to use the last thing I had bought like a while ago. I don't even know if it even worked, because I don't think it really did work a whole lot, but it did help. Well, I don't know if it helped. I got rid of using the item, but it's to clear a clog, you know, like stuff that you pour down the sink, which of course I can't really do in the bathroom sink because it has, you know, the stopper that's, you know, in the sink, you know, the stereotypical, not one that's like a rubber stopper, but, you know, one that you push the button to go up or down. So it's not easy to pour the stuff in. So I tried doing it, and while I was doing that and trying to get it in, something felt like it was on my foot, and I'm like, what the heck is this feeling? And I looked down, it's a bug. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, this is a fucking cockroach. It's not a cockroach. I don't think I've ever seen cockroaches in my apartment. But it is a type of bug that I have seen before, I think. And I don't know if it's a type of beetle or what, but I was like, bleh. So that was annoying. I killed it, of course. I mean, I set it free, folks. I think it stopped moving because it probably came up from the sewer pipe where I was dumping the crap. You know, that probably made it ill. But yeah, I was like, it's because it's summertime and it's going to go into rainy season when things pop up. I've seen them pop up on the in the laundry nook at times too, and I'm just like, where are these bugs coming from? I thought there was something else I wanted to mention. Nope, I couldn't remember what I was going to say before I start continuing to play. Oh well. Wait, what? Did I just start off with this? Once more, darkness falls upon the city. You wake up, same as you have these past few nights, in a windowless room. Okay. Oh. There we go. Whatever. As you pry open the reinforced steel door, game! Put the controller down and does that. Also, I need to check battery power. Oh, scheisse. Okay, I gotta charge my battery. 1 pellet, folks. 1 pellet. Oh, wait. It goes on the top. I remember things. The switch goes on the bottom. I remember how to charge this. Actually, no, the switch is on the top, too. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. I'm tired, folks. let's see. Reinforced steel door. You look out the window and see, or window to see, invariably, a sky bereft of sunlight. And then it hits you. The hunger. For a moment, you let yourself wonder if there will ever come a night when it's just not there. Given what you've learned thus far, you probably have as much chance of kickstarting your heart with jumper cables. That was it. I wouldn't mind being a vampire. Maybe not in this universe, in the real world, but I wouldn't mind being a vampire. Just see magic. I finally learned to speak proficiently other languages. It would take me forever. See, that's why I would not get bored, because if I wanted to speak certain languages, it would take me decades upon decades to learn the stupid languages. So I would never, I would never feel bored. Although, given the trajectory of how human evolution's going, I probably wouldn't want to be a vampire now that I think about it, because fuck AI. Oh no, Dark, why are you saying that? Oh, but you're a professor. Oh, Dark, no! Yeah, fuck AI. No. Also, it's a buzzword right now, which is annoying, like a lot of other things. There's a stupid commercial that pops up when I watch YouTube on my Nintendo Switch because I can't block the ads. That's like saying all these stupid buzzwords, like, smartphone, AI, and all the other. I say smartphone because that's how it's pronounced. It's not. There's no ph in Korean phonetics. It's still phone, but smartphone. They say all these. I mean, not all of the buzzwords, but it's all technology-related stuff, and I'm just like high-tech stuff, and I'm like, bleh, I don't want to keep hearing this stupid commercial. If I can cancel out of it in the 5 seconds. But yeah. I don't like where AI is going. So maybe I don't want to be a vampire. But hey, you can always distance yourself from things if you have the money. Well, even if you don't have the money, you can distance yourself from certain things. It all depends on how you do it and where you are. But anywho, the point is, I'd like to be a vampire. Okay. You lock the door behind you and head over to Sophie's apartment. You did promise to call on her. Might as well not keep the lady waiting. And hey, what else are you going to do? Press the wrong button. That's what I'm going to do. Call M? She's probably worried. At least she will be when she actually tries to give you a call, which might not happen for a few more weeks, months, if she's busy doing press for her new piece. You could try to track down your sire, if the sheriff hasn't done that already. After all, he did buy your painting. There has to be a money trail, right? But even if so, yeah, I bet he didn't. What would you say to him? These thoughts put you in a weird mood. It's a strange sensation to walk the crowded streets, same as you have so many times before, but feeling so disconnected. All these people, you're not one of them. Not anymore. You're a vampire, Kindred, and you need to carve your own path in this strange new existence, one way or another. Appropriately enough, you arrive at Sophie's building just as that thought crosses your mind. A quick word with the security guard, and you're led into the elevator. Apparently, Ms. Langley is expecting you. Of course she is. You knock and wait patiently as the footsteps on the other side grow louder, or closer. Finally, the door opens and Gregory, Sophie's driver, invites you in. You find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's midnight glow. She stares out, motionless, like a marble statue. Hey, am I interrupting something? She doesn't react immediately, but seems to snap out of some meditative state and looks at you with strangely bleary eyes. Yes, you are, but that's all right. I've been meaning to ask you something. When you look out at the city, when you see the lights, hear the hum, smell the rain on the pavement, what do you think about? You gaze out. You thought the city couldn't surprise you anymore. You've lived here all your life, after all. but tonight something feels different. You realize in this moment that you have truly changed. Yes, you know what Sophie means. The way she gazed out that window and saw the truth beyond. You do the same. The view is fascinating, each detail absorbing, every angle a new experience, the familiar made sublime. When you turn to Sophie again, she smiles at you knowingly. Bull crap, it's fucking New York City. Don't give me this bullshit. I've never been to New York City, folks, and I don't plan to. I don't want to be an example to be showcased on Law and Order SVU. No, I'm kidding. No, I've watched too much of, I haven't watched anything of the recent stuff of Law and Order SVU, because I know it's still going on. I did read something online or something in a news article about it. I'm like, holy, or maybe they're in the last season, I forget one or the other. But I was like, holy crap, it's still on? But I'm like, yeah, that show has made me not want to go to New York City. I'm sorry, it's USA. Any huge, major city, although I have been to Chicago. And that is a major city. But it's also technically in the Midwest, so the Midwest can give it a pass. Meaning it's fine. But it was only to get, like I mentioned before, to get my passport. For anyone who lives in the Midwest, you have to go to Chicago for the Korean embassy consulate in the Korean embassy. I forget the different term. But anyway, you have to go there to do all that stuff, because that's the one. So yeah. But yeah, and I've lived in the Twin Cities. Now the Twin Cities are bigger, but it's not compared to Chicago or New York City. It's not the biggest place, but it's still big. With all smaller towns and cities around it, suburbs, satellites. But yeah, no, don't try to glorify New York City. Anywho. So you understand. I had my doubts, but perhaps we are shared lineage after all. Lineage, a vampire's bloodline, the kindred sire, etc. An archaic term. Well, it also means, like, the clan, but maybe it means that too, I guess. Yeah. You see, the blood that flows within me is the clan is that of Clan Toreador. Clan Toreador. Many Toreador emerge from the ranks of accomplished artists, both new and faded, but not all artists need wield a brush. To the Toreador, art encompasses all forms of entertainment and stimulation. The Clan of the Rose courts the greatest actors, singers, writers, dancers, and even sex workers, if the degenerates believe such mortals will offer something new to their clan. You call sex workers degenerates? Okay, what the heck? Okay, despite the custom of embracing only the best, the Toreador fixation on beauty and innocence has caused many a diva to make a fledgling in haste. Many a moonlit night, new clan members have emerged as shallow hedonists, one-hit wonders, or just a stunning body with nothing else to offer. Nicknames: divas, harlots, sensates, perverts, hedonist, degenerates. Oh, sorry. The degenerates are the Clan Toreador vampires. Okay. Alright, got it. I thought I was confused for a moment, but okay. Yeah, you'll learn more about the different clans in this in the dictionary. I like they have the different nicknames for them. It's fascinating. I can push or 2 to go back, not just X. Cool. There are 13 such bloodlines among us kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights it seems that nothing is certain anymore. Bloodline. A vampire's heritage. See also clan. Also, a very, what's the term again? Not popular, but, what's the term? Something that's also in a very cult followed video game of this franchise. And at some point, the second one to be released. Which is funny because they say it's already out when I put in Vampire the Masquerade when I search online for this for YouTube. And I'm like, no, it's not. I heard now it's coming out in October. My birth month, woot woot. The best month of the year. Because of Halloween, but also because I'm born in the month. But I'm going to experience Halloween again. I mean, okay, I experience it every year since I've been in Korea, but I mean, I actually give candy to children. That sounds like I'm a pervert. Slightly. But no, I mean, I can go to a party. Depending on where I live, I don't know if I will be going to a party. But anyway, but the point is, I'm digressing. But yeah, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines and Bloodlines 2. Anywho. Wait, is Bloodlines 2 supposed to be related to New York City? I forget offhand. I saw the trailer at one point. I'm never going to play it because it's in first person. Which is why I'm not going to play it. I mean, the first one was third person. I think it was third person. It was in first person. I watched someone play it. I mean, technically, I guess he's a disgraced YouTuber now. But, I think it was third person. But the second one is in first person. I'm not like, I don't want to watch it. I would never play it. I'm not a fan of. I'm bad with action adventure games. We've attested to this, folks. I mean, heck. But, I'm not good with first-person games. Especially first-person action adventure games. Well, maybe adventure, if it wasn't action-based. I mean, there's a difference. But combined, no. Alright, no, X or 2 dark. The clans have gone by many epithets. Epithets is the TH over the years, but the names used these knights have their roots in medieval times. Their original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They used these to categorize us, describe our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Oh my gosh, you're like the first ones to take back the names. Sorry. Or is it claim back? Claim names, take back, claim, whatever. Bad terms, whatever. Each clan has a uniqueness about it, inescapable, originating from an ancient progenitor carried from sire to child. A vampire created through the embrace. The child is the progeny of their sire. This term is often used derogatorily, indicating inexperience. Plural, childer, or childer. Interesting. For the Toreador, the gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot. A blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. I mean, if I was going to be if I was made a vampire in this universe, it would probably be a Toreador. Although, I mean, I would love to be either from the Vinici? Da Vinci, not Da Vinici. I forget the Serpent Clan, or not the Serpent Clan, but like, is it Vinici? I forget how it's pronounced. That one, or the ones that basically are witches, which I'm blanking out. We actually will meet one of those people in the one of them's actually a possible coterie member. But yeah, those will probably be the 3 clans. I mean, there's a lot of different clans, so yeah. Anywho, Or if we were going to go back to the ancient ones, a Brujah, because they originally were, and in a way they are still, but it's usually not. But that would be more intellect, because they were like scholars. Like if you played, what is the one? Is it Redemption or whatever? The one that was during like the Inquisition times. That's the Brujah there, as opposed to the current generation of Brujah. But anyway, I digress. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to see him as such. Poor Kadir. It breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there is beauty to it as well. Nothing like a good fall from grace. Yeah, and you don't actually get any more information about that if there was some backstory with this character in this game or in the second one. Maybe it is in the player manual for New York City or whatever. Whatever that expansion is. Yeah. Try as she might to act playful, you can tell she genuinely cares. She lets her gaze wander for a brief moment, but is quick to regain her composure. Then there are the Ventru, known for their pride and a proclivity to rule over others. The prince represents that clan, as is quite common in our society around the globe. Yeah, it's interesting. Based on whichever clan you're playing as, their dialogue choices change, which is fascinating based on like what they think or how they act. I like that in this game. So like when you're Amanda and you meet the prince, yeah. Clan Ventru. While many other clans claim positions of influence in mortal politics and business, no one can rival the Ventru in the game of pure power and wealth. They have long been the leaders of the Camarilla, holding many positions over power than any other clan, and they are loath to give that up. The Ventru believe in the strength of tradition and lineage. They embrace as one of their most important rituals, and the choice of child affects the way other members of the clan treat the sire. The Ventru therefore aim to embrace overachievers, politically or financially powerful kin, or those with a talent that sets them apart from the masses. They maintain that they are destined to rule all kindred, no matter the sacrifices involved. Their detractors call them little lords, Borgias. I don't know how. It's not bourgeois. Yeah, because it's not English. And tyrants. Those who respect Ventrus for keeping the Camarilla together use terms like blue bloods, patricians, or warlords. How is warlord a nice term? Where the blue bloods think themselves rulers, the Brujah like to see themselves as preeminent revolutionaries. They call for universal rebellion while being slaves to their own temper. Clan Brujah. Clan Brujah have always embraced from the ranks of those sympathetic to counterculture and revolution. They seek out allies who question normative ideas and recognizing the fire of the oppressed. They gravitate toward the underdog. Common perception placed punks, gang members, maladjusted immigrants, rejected by the society that should protect them, and placard-carrying and Molotov-wielding rioters among the Brujah, current times. While the above is sometimes true, the clan adheres to no single ideology, and their desire for dissent reaches as deep as the fraudster ripping off his own company, the lawyer representing the poor pro bono, the neo-Nazi claiming to be alt-right, and the basement dweller downloading thousands of movies illegally for redistribution on streaming sites. Fledglings embraced to fight and protest are commonly referred to as rebels, punks, or rabble. We don't discuss the rabble much anymore, not after they've largely broken off with the Camarilla. To think they were philosophers once, long ago. Yeah, see, that's why, if it was like the past tense Brujah, I wouldn't mind. But although I'm not really a philosopher type, well, I don't know. historian more than philosopher. Yeah, I would think. I hope to tell you more about some of the other bloodlines tonight. I just described that. How can I tell a kindred clan? Say I meet a vampire for the first time. How can I tell what their clan is? Usually you cannot, with a few exceptions perhaps. For some clans, the uniqueness I mentioned bleeds into their appearance or disposition, but even that can be misleading. Outside of a few very specific cases, knowing one's clan is less important than understanding who they are personally. What drives them, their wants and needs, weaknesses too. Speaking of which, we come to the reason I wanted to speak to you tonight. It is customary in our society, especially among younger kindred, to organize into coteries. Sometimes these are called by the prince themselves or mandated by a fledgling sire. In our case, you may treat it as more of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn more about our society, but also because it is useful. And also, as much as I don't know, you might get an early game over if you don't do it. Just saying. There is a thing that happens story-wise where I question if you would be able to get away from it or survive that night if you don't have a coterie with you. Anywho. True friendships are rare among kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless. So tell me, are you a part of a coterie? Any close allies? I do have those that I trust enough to work with, yes. Not a coterie exactly, though I have joined several of those over the years. Not in over a century, though. Dang, you're old. However, you would do well to meet some of the city's younger kindred and see if you can find a connection. It's an essential experience for one so young. She puts on a mysterious smile. I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet. Came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture. Forging a partnership with them might offer perspectives and viewpoints that I cannot provide. Lessons through which to view our kind. They are all members of the Camarilla, of course, more or less. All right, then, let's hear it. Who's on the list? Eager to learn about them, I see. Good, I'm glad. So let us start with Tremere, that's the witches. Clan Tremere, a hermetic mage in 8th century Romania. Tremere was the leader of a cabal of magic users rightfully feared for their obsession with knowledge and power. Unwilling to accept his own mortality, Tremere cast his eyes on the hallowed secret of immortality. In his greed, the mage instigated the most terrifying magical experiments ever conducted, damning himself and his followers to a hell of their own making. Terrified, they died and woke again to an eternity of unlife and hunger, cut off from their craft. In a mockery of their former magical rituals, now only fresh blood allows the Tremere to cast their thaumaturgic spells to twist reality. The clan is still organized like an initiatory occult order, recently fractured into a number of competing houses, each claiming to be the rightful heir of Tremere's legacy. They see true power as knowing the ways of shaping the world, having access to the right blood, and owning the rarest of ancient artifacts. They're usually referred to as warlocks, hermetics, or transgressors. So let us start with the Tremere. They are a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar of the Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers. Blood sorcerers? You could swear you once saw them play at the Apollo. Probably not the same blood sorcerers, though. Sophie snickers. Oh, child, don't be caught with the look on your face when you meet a warlock in person. They really are adept at using vitae, their own as well as others, to unique and potent effects. Vitae, archaic term for the blood of a vampire. Stop it! Dark! Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I had in mind for you might need some persuading. His name is Agathon. Also, his name is Kick-Ass. Yeah, Agathon is going to be one of the coterie members. I already know who I want him. I forget if you can have 2 people or 3, but I know if it's 2, I know exactly which 2 I'm going to have in my group. I think I've had all of them. From what I hear, he is quite the scholar, very ambitious. The child of a noted Tremere here in New York City. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Aisling Sturbridge. Spend enough time with Agathon, I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later. This whole blood magic thing sounds intriguing. Oh yes, fascinating. It is also a well-kept secret of the Tremere. Don't expect them to share it right away. Some things have to be earned. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremere, here you can usually find him in a New Age bookstore out on Broadway. The Tremere have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Now, this next recommendation comes with a bit of a caveat. As you recall me saying, most bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at first glance. Well, there is one clan whose members wear their curse on their sleeve. Oh! I forgot about this guy. I was wondering, because I know there were 2 females and 2 male vampires. And I was like, I swear I'm missing a vampire, and I think there was another male. I thought there were 2. This is the other male. Okay. The Nosferatu. Clan Nosferatu. The clan of the hidden... Oh, I guess another vampire clan that I wouldn't mind playing at being if it was something would be is it the Sabbat? No, the Sabbat's not the clan. That's a house or group, a faction. The other shadowy people, La Sombra, there we go, La Sombra. But I don't really, I'm not like an assassin, so type person, or or stick to the shadows. So that's why I really wouldn't be that or Nosferatu. Well, Nosferatu usually have to be quite evil. But anyway, the clan of the hidden are known under many names: hives, lepers, sewer rats, carnies, scabs, orlocks. I would say orlocks. But a few of them sound pleasant. For the Nosferatu, the embrace is a journey through abjection, as the blood of the horror gradually deforms the struggling tissues of the human body into grotesque abominations. Weeks of pain result in deformities similar to terrible birth defects, cancer growths, crippling injuries, and leper-like sores. Those who endure it find themselves as monstrous echoes of Murnau's silver screen vision, which, by the by, you cannot watch that for free legally anymore, folks. Yeah, you cannot. It's depressing. Or manures, but yeah. You can't watch that German film anymore. I remember watching that in German class in high school. I think it is included on a horror DVD compilation I have. Well, I don't know if I still have it because it would be with my parents. I have to check it out if they still have it. I believe it's on that compilation of horror movies. But yeah, you can't actually get it legally anymore. Yeah, there's like some kind of weird copyright thing or something, or someone has the rights to it or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, silver screen vision. But perhaps pain and humiliation teaches compassion. The Nosferatu, as they jokingly call themselves, are the most humane of the kindred, wearing their curse on the outside rather than the inside. To blend in, some call on the blood to wear the borrowed faces of their victims or disappear from sight, while others rely on prosthetics and heavy makeup. I have, like I mentioned, I did have all of the clan members as, well, not all of them together at one time, but I've done every clan member's side quests and stuff for the coterie, because I think that's also a trophy, getting each member as a clan member before. Wait, Nosferatu? As in the German expressionist classic? No way. No wonder they make their havens in sewers, abandoned buildings and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned of our existence long ago. Did she just shudder? It's hard to tell with her usual complexion, but you could swear her skin suddenly took on an even more sickly color. The one I have in mind isn't as big an eyesore as the worst of them, but he is no Adonis either. Still, he has some talents and connections that you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, in the otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me. The one with the awful furniture. What, IKEA? What, IKEA? A Swedish furniture store? You mean IKEA? Yes, that's it. My mind struggles to retain things that are aesthetically displeasing. When I saw one of my friends 2 years ago when I visited back home, I didn't talk to him about it, but when I first met him when I was in undergrad, he was all bigged in with IKEA. Yeah, like IKEA furniture everywhere in his townhome. It was just hilarious. IKEA this, IKEA that. He's like, yeah, IKEA. We have the Swiss meatballs at the store. Because there's an IKEA store next to Mall of America. Yeah. Mall of America? Yeah, that's in Bloomington, near the airport, near the Twin Cities. Yeah. Although, unless they've changed it, it's not easy to get to if you're walking. Like, there's a light rail that goes to Mall of America, but I don't think there's anything that connects to IKEA, which, yeah, literally do some walking. It might be nearby if you have a vehicle, but it's not if you're walking. D'Angelo does odd jobs for Kadir, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to remain hidden. The kind of work the Nosferatu are best at. Wait. His side quest might relate to Lawson. I might be confusing. I was thinking maybe it would be Agamemnon, whatever his name is. Agamemnon. No, not something else. Someone else. But yeah, it might be D'Angelo's. You do see Kadir more if you are with D'Angelo's around. He's on a case right now. Something to do with kind murders, I think. Yeah. You do see Larson in this, yeah. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might be just the thing. Actually, I'm not going to have D'Angelo in my group. Unless you can have 3 people. I don't remember. She takes a brief pause to look out the window again. Now comes the 2 more exotic proposals. Because the women... No, I'm joking. That's not why. Exotic? As if blood magic and the vampire detective were business as usual. You may have heard about the Gangrel before. Clan Gangrel. Clan Gangrel are outcasts, wanderers, rogues, and hunters. They make havens in the poorest parts of the city and feel no shame for doing so. They claim few domains as they own, but as their own but defer to no prince. If a pharaoh enters a city, the prince will either accept it or have to fight the pharaoh to get them to back down. Gangrel embraced from the ranks of survivors and fighters, leaders of prison crews and gangs. It's funny because they also mentioned gangs for Brujas, but anyway, explorers, urban and otherwise, and any kind who sees the world as something to traverse instead of something to hide from. They care not for looks or title, but for accomplishment and reputation. They are commonly referred to as wolves, pharaoh, and outcasts, or in a more derogatory manner, as animals, strays, and savages. They are a wild clan, in touch with their beasts in a way others might not dare to attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are exceptions. Nominally, they haven't been a part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one kindred I would like you to meet has strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999, the very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Yeah, because before that it was owned by the Sabbat, FYI. Well, it's a Sabbat. I don't even know if we talk about that in this game, but yeah. That's another faction. Where the Viminti are mainly prominent in, but not always, but not exact, but I think have separate. Is it Viminti? I always forget. I don't know all the names. I don't know everything. It's based only on what I've watched from the World of Darkness channel on YouTube for watching plays of Vampire and the Masquerade. So that's why, folks. LA by night and LA by night and New York by night. Also Seattle by night, but that was also Penny Arcade. Is it Penny Arcade? I forget the name of their channel, the other, YouTube channel. The very same. Yeah, I already read that. Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated. I got the impression contacting vampires who aren't in the Camarilla was frowned upon, but you're saying these gangrel aren't a part of the sect anymore. How does that work? It's not as clear-cut. The gangrel as a whole have sworn off the Camarilla, but individual kindred of that clan can still hold our ideals. Jezebel was one of them before she became jaded. Besides, their domain in Prospect Park has been upheld by Prince Panhard all these years, has it not? We consider them members of the sect, and they have, for the most part, kept to themselves. Perhaps it will take a young kindred such as yourself to make them realize where their loyalties lie. So you see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational if nothing else, and who knows, perhaps you will find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of a change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you, though it's one I don't make lightly. The kindred who calls herself Hope. She's the other one that I'm going to have definitely in my coterie. She is Malkavian. Clan Malkavian. Psychologists would diagnose the children of Malkov with schizophrenia, depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or post-traumatic stress disorder. I forgot, this would be also a clan that I could probably become if it was real life. I do have depression, folks. I just take happy pills for it. I mean, it's not like, it's clinical depression. It's not like deep depression. But, I mean, I have depression, folks. And some other, probably, undiagnosed mental disorders. But don't most people have that? Okay, Well, obsessive compulsive disorder, that's the other one. I don't think it was diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have a bit of that, of OCD. Sometimes all at once. In reality, Clan of the Moon are all of those things and none. Like the wise madman of poetry, their derangement stems from seeing too much of the world at once, from understanding too deeply, and feeling emotions that are too strong to bear. They self-medicate with blood, but that is just a temporary solution. All Malkavians suffer mental illness following the embrace, sometimes accentuating an existing condition, other times adding a new dimension to their instability. As if their thoughts and actions were based on otherworldly logic, there seems to be no knowing when their condition will manifest destructively or when it will offer important perspectives where such were previously lacking. They are referred to as oracles, gestures, and visionaries, or in a more insulting manner, as madmen, liabilities, and lunatics. She's a Malkavian. They are a unique cursed clan. For centuries, we considered them mad, insane, and hinged, but those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. It is no sickness, but a unique perception of the world that has them appear to us as unstable, that's right, not usable. And that perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope, specifically, she is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe, I believe it's called, in Lower Manhattan. I don't know these terms. Gregory has the address. What did you learn about her exactly? One of my colleagues told me about her. He considers her uniquely talented and tapped into the current fads among kin. Not something I am personally interested in, as I'm sure you know by now. I take his word for it, at any rate. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cordial visits of your own. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your services. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you? She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat, and the three of you leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands you the keys. It's a rather inconspicuous, compact car. A decent-looking, if not luxurious, ride. Is it a Nissan Versa? Because that's the type of car I'm thinking about getting when I'm back in the USA. Once I have some of my pension money. That won't be until September, folks. I want a vehicle that has high MPG, miles per gallon. And that's one of them. There are some others, but okay, one that runs on gasoline. Now, I say gasoline. I wouldn't mind having a hybrid, but I wouldn't do full electric because, depending upon where I live, that might not be a good option. Also, from at least what I gathered in Korea, don't know if it's the same in the USA, but I always thought that you just charge your vehicle like at your home or in a charging station, unless if it was your own charging station you didn't have to pay a fee, but in Korea you do. So I don't know if that's the same in the USA, but I think that's bullshit. I was like, what's the point of electric? I thought it was so you didn't have to pay for gasoline. Hybrid would be fine because you could use both and you wouldn't have to always use one or the other, or use that. And I believe hybrids charge on their own. The battery charges while you're running on gasoline. I'm not sure. I mean, it all depends on what type, I guess. It's very confusing. The thing is, most hybrids are newer vehicles, and I'm someone who likes buttons. And if I like buttons, that means I'm not going to get a vehicle that's new, because that involves all the touchscreen bullcrap that I dislike, as already mentioned, with these vehicles that we see in this game. They're beautiful. So I'm looking at vehicles that are at the latest 2017 or earlier. I know what date it started to be more into it. There's some exceptions to that rule, but most vehicles after 2017 it's required. So I'm like, meh, no thanks. Don't want to hear beep, 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 and not have my lovely buttons and have a stupid, big, huge navigation panel bullshit crap. And no, thank you. All right, Sophie points to blah, 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 blah. Stay safe, Lamar. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last. As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you've had for the past few nights. Oh, that's the car driving off. A blessing or a burden? Time will tell. With a list of addresses at hand, you consider your next move. But guess what, folks? That'll be for next time. So here are the options. It's a kind of magic. That was horrible. I'm sorry. I disgraced Queen. Actually, it's not. It's a kind of, well, whatever the song is. But I'm trying to do it in that term. But yeah, Sophie's mention of a vampire clan of blood sorcerers sparked your attention. One of them, Agamemnon, I forget what his name is. Anyway, Agathon could potentially be your introduction to the bizarre powers of the Tremere. Searching for Hope. Sophie suggested you meet Hope, a reclusive member of the Malkavian clan. She's supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in Lower Manhattan. That's funny. Oh, it's because he's hidden. Ah, that's interesting. Yeah. Gumshoe in the Dark. A recent string of violent killings has the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Kadir al-Asmai has a secret associative investigating the murders, a Nosferatu neonite by the name of D'Angelo. If you help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. And Jezebel's Chowder. Sophie mentioned a gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who's made herself a haven in Prospect Park. The Ferals aren't exactly a social bunch, even by Kindred standards, but if you can keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. So, next week, folks, we will decide, or by next week, yeah, Sunday's next week, we'll be looking at one of these for the rest of tonight. The third night of being a vampire. This is the third night, right? Yeah. But anywho, let's do a save and exit. Saving and exiting? Yes, it did. Alright. I thank you all for joining me. This has been DarkElf85 on YouTube or HektontheMage's on PSN, and this has once again been Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Yeah. Sorry. I'm just... I read a lot. I'm tired. I'm tired for multiple reasons. Yeah. I'm going to be playing games with my friend, playing World of Warcraft with my friend. Actually, no, World of Warcraft is connected to a USA bank account. My Nintendo Switch, I'm going to have to switch because I originally had it connected to a USA bank account, but then when my card got hacked at some point, don't know how, but it did. I switched it to my Korean bank account, and I'm going to have to switch it back to a USA bank account at some point. And Netflix won't be able to change it until... Actually, I have to switch it to my Korean bank account that's going to be my main one now, or card, and then I'll switch it to a USA card once I'm back in the USA later. I'm trying to think whatever. I have to cancel. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go next week. I'm going to have to go to the bank because I'm going to have to transfer my money from my current bank to the other bank. And I want to do it all at once from the bank, because if you try to do it at the ATM, you have to do it by like 999,999 won each transfer. Excuse me. And I don't feel like doing that like 6-7 times. I don't. So I'm going to do it all at once at the bank. I'm pretty sure they can do it all at once. And I might actually transfer. No, do I want to transfer? I might transfer some of that money. No, I need to transfer the money from that other bank account to keep that active. I can't do it from this bank. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so many things I gotta do. I did make notes, folks. I took notes down for what to do before I leave. But oh, there's so much crap I've got to do. It's frustrating. But anywho, that's not all for you to know. Oh, I didn't mention when my interview is. I did get a date. My interview is on the 16th of July. They were nice, and it is at a time that's okay with that for my time. So it's at my time it's July 16th, Tuesday, from 10 to 11 p.m. But for them it'll be 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Because remember, Korea is 14 hours ahead of USA. And the school, I mentioned it's in, I think it's in what state, but it's in Iowa, so it's part of the Midwest, so it's in Central Standard Time. But yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I really wish, though, I got more information on, like, if this is going to be like, besides an interview, if it's also going to be like a teaching demonstration with it or something. There wasn't any description with it, so I'm not sure. And I did ask in an email, and I haven't had a response with it. So I might message again if they want certain things. But yeah, I don't know what to expect other than meet and greet, which I'm sure that can't be the only thing because it's a freaking interview. Might look online to see what to expect for interviewing, because I'm sure it's going to be different than what I did here for the two places I worked at in Korea. But anyway, may you all have a very good rest of the day, night, or anywhere in between. Stay safe out there, folks, and goodbye. I gotta hang up some clothes for laundry, and I was gonna start packing some stuff to toss out from my cupboards, because I haven't done that yet, folks. For the perishable stuff, well, the like refrigerated stuff, perishable stuff, but yeah. But anywho, yeah, that's what I gotta do. I need to hang up laundry before I go to bed. Okay. Bye, folks. Later.